My ex left me years ago when I was broke. I worked hard, became a doctor, and now she shows up in my office with cancer. And now she wants us to get back together to help her get better. When I was 17, I met my girlfriend, let's call her Georgina, at school. We were both young and experiencing our first love together. On weekends, we'd hang out and have fun with Georgina and David's girlfriend, Lucy. That's when the rivalry and jealousy started between Georgina and Lucy. Lucy was spoiled and demanding, always making David do whatever she wanted. Every time we went out, David would suggest we all go shopping together. Lucy would always ask for new clothes, saying she couldn't wear something more than twice. Georgina would get sad and jealous. She'd say to me, "Just look at how other boyfriends treat their girlfriends. She buys clothes every week, and the last time you bought me something was a year ago on my birthday. Why don't you get what I need? Should I really have to tell you everything?" It made me feel ashamed, and inside I was breaking. Our relationship started getting colder, whether we were out with friends or just the two of us. One time we went out to a restaurant for dinner. It was Georgina's birthday, and I had bought her a diamond ring. I saved up for 3 months to get the ring she liked. It was in my pocket, and I'd also ordered a cake and asked them to decorate our table for the occasion. After we celebrated and had some cake, we sat down for dinner, and I told Georgina to order whatever she wanted since I had enough money to cover the night. She was so happy that evening, and she ordered everything: food, appetizers, dessert, salad, drinks. Basically, the whole menu. I had planned to give her the ring right there at the restaurant, but then I changed my mind. I decided to wait and give it to her by the beach instead, because she loved the beach. She'd always send me pictures of couples there, especially ones with a guy kneeling and proposing with a ring. So I asked her, "Georgina, how would you feel about going to the beach after dinner?" She looked surprised and asked, "Why now? Why not tomorrow?" I said, "I know how much you love the beach. We can take pictures there on your birthday night. Isn't that a good idea?" Her eyes lit up, and she happily said, "Yeah, let's go." We took some selfies together and posted them on Instagram with the caption, "Happy birthday to the love of my life." Likes and comments started popping up on my phone, and I added a ring emoji to the caption, which I thought would make everyone curious, if they were paying attention, of course. When dinner was over, I went up to the counter to pay the bill. But when I searched for my credit card in my pocket, I couldn't find it. I told Georgina to wait a second while I checked the card for my card, but then I realized I hadn't even brought it with me. Embarrassed and feeling defeated, I went back to the restaurant and told Georgina I'd forgotten my card. She looked at me with a bitter smile, and I said, "Georgina, can you pay for it and I'll transfer the money to you when I get home?" She laughed out loud and said, "How useless and stupid can you be? You brought me here for my birthday, told me to order whatever I wanted, and now you're saying I should pay? You're worthless, I hate you." I was completely embarrassed, and the restaurant staff and customers were staring at us in shock. She grabbed her bag and left without saying a word. I broke down and started crying. The restaurant staff came over and asked, "Why are you crying, sir? You can settle the bill tomorrow morning." The manager, who had seen everything on camera, came up and said, "It's okay, you can pay tomorrow, you can leave now." I looked at them and said, "You know why I'm crying? Because I saved up for months. I skipped lunches and dinners, didn't buy any of my favorite clothes, and barely helped my parents with their debts, just so I could buy her this ring tonight. And now she just walks out on me like this?" One of the staff members touched my hand, trying to be sympathetic, and said, "That girl doesn't love you, it's clear. I know these kinds of girls, they just use guys, and all they care about is money. Am I right?" The memories of everything we went through hit me like a movie reel. I remembered every time she ruined our moments because of money, every time she compared me to other guys. I tried so hard to fulfill her wishes. I thought about how many times I caught her flirting and cheating on me, but I stayed quiet because I didn't want to lose her. My mind was clouded by love, and her eyes were only on the money. And told them everything, and the staff put their hands on my shoulders. One of them said, "Sell the ring, or keep it for the one who actually deserves it." I left the restaurant and drove to the beach. I stayed there for a long time just watching the sea. It was a cold night, colder than my heart. I went back home and everyone was asleep. I went to my room and checked Georgina's profile picture. She was online. I texted her. "I bought a diamond ring for you. I thought you deserved it, but I guess you didn't." She replied, "It's been a while since I wanted to tell you that I can't be with poor, broke guys, or marry them, or even imagine my future with them. I don't need your diamond ring. I'm starting a new relationship with one of my friends. You shouldn't show up around me anymore. I don't want to see you." My heart shattered into a million pieces, and I could actually hear my heartbeat in my chest. I wanted to respond to her harsh words, but then I saw her profile picture disappear, and I realized she had blocked me. That night felt like a nightmare. I couldn't shake off all the memories, the sweet moments, and our late-night love talks. The next day, everywhere I went, on every sidewalk in every street, I remembered us. Our favorite cafe, the cinema, the street where we used to sit and talk for hours. I kept asking myself, what kind of stone-hearted girl was she? How could she just forget me and treat me like that? I looked at the diamond ring in my pocket and gripped it tight. I knew she was a closed chapter of my life. I tried to forget her and focus on my goal, becoming a doctor. It had always been my dream. I studied like crazy, aced the MCAT, and got into med school. It wasn't easy. Sleepless nights, crazy stress, and years of sacrifice. But I made it. I graduated and became the doctor I always promised myself I'd be. I opened my office. My financial situation was really good, and I bought a big house and a nice car for my dad. I also got another house for myself, but I spent most of my time with my parents. I started a relationship with a lady, let's call her Sandy. She was a doctor too, had been married and divorced once, and had a 6-year-old daughter. Our offices were next to each other, and we'd often hang out after work at the cafe in my apartment building. We had a lot in common. She was young and beautiful, and she really understood how I felt. She'd always ask why I hadn't been in a relationship all these years. I told her the story of Georgina, how she left me and treated me all those years ago. I still had the diamond ring with me, waiting for the right person to give it to. All these years, I hadn't been able to get close to anyone. I was always waiting for someone I could truly give my heart to, like I did with Georgina. But when I met Sandy, everything changed. I started bringing her roses every day, and we'd start each day together. I can't really call it love, but it was something just as strong. One day, while she was in my office in her white coat, I told her, "I love you, and I want to marry you." I knelt in front of her and gave her the diamond ring. I completely forgot about Georgina. She was in the past, and in my mind, it was over. Sandy kissed me, and I hugged her tightly. It felt like I had finally found the love of my life. Sandy's laughter and her warm smile became my strength to keep going. We got married soon after, and we started living together, or should I say, with our daughter. Let's call her Angela. Angela was about to start school that year, and I bought her the best stationery for the academic year. Angela would call me Dad, and it felt like an angel was calling me that. I felt so happy with my life. Every morning we'd wake up early, get dressed, have breakfast, drop Angela off at school, and then head to our offices together. We were happy, and we were in love. So in love. One day, while I was seeing patients, I came across a name that was familiar to me. Georgina's name. It pulled me straight back into the past, and all the painful memories came flooding back. I thought it might just be a coincidence, but when I looked up, there she was. She looked older, worn out, and just down. She knew who I was, and it was obvious she came there on purpose. I said a cold, "Hello," and didn't say anything more because I really didn't give a damn about her anymore. I didn't feel anything for her. My heart was full of Sandy's love now. She smiled and said, "Hey, how are you, old friend?" I replied flatly, "I'm good. What's your problem, madam?" and then went on with my day. After concerts, there were always people coming up, so people had a little more space than we did. She said, "My problem is, for a while now, I've been noticing blood in my urine. It's dark and brownish. I was searching online for a good urologist when I came across your name. I thought to myself, have I made a mistake? How did you even become a doctor with all the financial struggles and obstacles you faced? I'm honestly proud of you, Georgina." I caught her saying, "It's better if you call me doctor or by my name. Don't call me dear, and don't try to bring up our past. I have no past with you. I've forgotten about you, and I don't give a damn about opportunistic people like you anymore. As for your problem, I need to see the results of your pelvic and abdominal ultrasound, as well as your urine culture test, to figure out what's going on." But honestly, when she mentioned seeing blood in her urine, I started getting worried about cancer. I didn't say anything though. I just wrote the orders for the ultrasound and lab tests and told her to bring the results in as soon as she could. She asked, "Is it something serious? Could it be kidney stones? My friend had the same symptoms." I told her, "I can't say anything without seeing the results first." She left without saying another word. That night, my mind was filled with thoughts of her. I reviewed all the memories, but I had no feelings left for her. It felt like I was seeing a stranger, yet the memories kept haunting me. While Sandy and I were having dinner, she asked, "Babe, is everything okay? You've been so quiet tonight." I said, "Nothing, just a busy day with patients, darling." Later, when we were in bed, holding each other, I smelled her hair and asked, "Sandy, do you ever think about your ex-husband?" Sandy shrugged. She answered quickly, "Yes, sometimes, but it's all bad, sad memories. I've forgotten the good stuff." Anne nodded. I smiled and said, "I love you so much, Sandy. I never want to lose you. My love for you is always less than yesterday, but more than tomorrow." Her green eyes sparkled. "Your love is my reason for living, babe. Never forget, you mean the world to me." She fell asleep in my arms, but I couldn't sleep. My mind was still on Georgina and the results of her tests. By the way, Georgina had no place in my heart anymore, but she was someone I once knew. I couldn't erase the fact that I had loved her, lived with her, and been with her. I was still worried about cancer, and I didn't sleep a wink until morning. When Sandy and I left for work, we waved goodbye since our offices were on different units, though we were on the same floor. I was waiting for Georgina's name to pop up on my patient list, but I couldn't find it until the end of the day. I was getting stressed, so I asked the receptionist to call her, but then I backed out. I didn't want her to think I cared too much or make her start her usual drama. 2 days later, she finally showed up with her test results. I asked, "Why'd you come so late?" She smirked and said, "I wanted to make you miss me." I replied, "I don't care about you, but I do care about your health. Don't overcomplicate this." They went through her results, and just as I suspected, they found a mass in her bladder. I wasn't sure if it was a polyp, a cancerous tumor, or something benign. I told her, "There's a mass in your bladder. We don't know what it is yet. I'll refer you for a cystoscopy so I can check it out this week." Her face went pale and she seemed stressed. "Is it cancer?" she asked. I replied, "We don't know yet. We'll figure it out with the cystoscopy. Please try to stay calm. We'll know more this week." Her face turned even paler, and she said, "My hands are shaking." I took her blood pressure and saw it was really low. I asked her to lie down on the bed so I could have the nurse start an IV, but as soon as she stood up, she fainted, and I caught her in my arms. Then the entire contraption vaporized, leaving the pregnant woman sitting up in her bed. I smelled her perfume and for a moment got lost in my memories. I knew she wasn't going to stay in my life for long. I called the nurse, and a new chapter was about to begin. To be continued.